This is Paul, the SDR guy, and we have a very interesting project that we're going to work on today. And what we're going to be doing is we're going to be tracking aircraft and using a virtual radar, if you will, to allow us to actually graphically see the aircraft flying across the screen. If we click on the aircraft, it will show us the type of aircraft. There'll be pictures and other interesting things. So I'm going to next show you a graphic of what the final screen will look like. The next thing that we're going to do is we're going to install two different pieces of software. I will put the links to everything that we discuss today in the video description. And I want to remind you that you can use the antenna that we showed you how to build in episode 10. The frequency that we're going to be listening to today is 1090 megahertz. So let's go ahead and get on with it. At this point, I'm going to switch to my screen capture software so that you can follow me step by step. First piece of software that we are going to download is Zadig. So we're going to come up here and we want to type Zadig space download. And we'll go ahead and search for that, and we want to click here, Zadig USB driver installation made easy. I will be putting all links in the video description. So we're going to click here. We are running Windows 11. So we're going to scroll down here and we're going to find and click on Zadig version 2.9. And notice it's an unverified download. It's blocked, so we're going to click download unverified file. The next thing that we want to download is the virtual radar software. Once again, the links will be in the description, and that is now downloaded. We will next download a program that is called Dump 1090. Links in the video description, and we will hit enter. And we want to keep this, and that is now downloaded. The next thing that we're going to do is we're going to open up our downloads directory, and we're going to double click on virtual radar setup. And when we get to this step, I suggest you leave the default port set to 80. Your PC is going to become a web server. If you have other web servers that are currently installed on your PC, you will want to pick another port number so that this does not conflict with your current web servers. Since I have no web servers running on my computer, I'm going to just keep port 80 and click Next. And we'll leave this as is. And this configure Windows firewall so other computers can access virtual radar on your network. This is your choice to make. I am going to leave it unchecked. Click Next. And the standard installation path is fine. So we're going to click Install. Now, some of you may not have the .NET 3.5 runtime environment installed, and this software requires that. So you could possibly see the software installation saying you need to install .NET 3.5. And if that's the case, then you need to install it before you will be able to proceed with the installation. Next thing that we're going to do is we're going to go to our downloads directory. We're going to click on this dump 1090. We're going to right click and we're going to go down to extract all. And I'm going to leave mine in my download directory for this video. If you want to put this in another directory, this is where you would change that. And then we're going to click on Extract. And there we go. We've extracted all the files in the zip file. We will next plug in to our computer an RTL-SDR V4. Make sure it's V4. So we're going to plug that in. And the next thing that we're going to do is we're going to double click on Zadig. And you want to be very careful with this program. And you want to do precisely what I'm doing. So we're going to come up here to Options, and we're going to select List All Devices. And once we've done that, we're going to come down here. We're going to click on this drop down. And we want to select this RTL2838 since we are running the V4 RTL-SDR. So let's click on that. And what we will do next is we will click on, you will either see install driver or reinstall driver. And at this point, I'm going to go ahead and cut this video. Once this finishes installing, well, I guess it's installed. And so we're going to close this, and we are finished with Zadig. So we're going to dismiss Zadig. You have an RTL-SDR V4, then we're going to go ahead and plug that in. And we're going to then double click on Zadig. And we're going to click on Options, List All Devices. And Once again, this step will only be performed if you have the RTL-SDR V4. So we're going to next come to the drop down. We're going to click on it, and we're going to select Blog V4. Once we've selected that, then we're going to click it will either say install driver or reinstall driver. So we're going to go ahead and click. And we will now close Zadig. We're now going to hook an antenna up to our RTL-SDR V3, and we want to, once we plug the antenna into the SDR, then we're going to plug it into a empty USB port. If you have an RTL-SDR V4, we will explain what you will need to do in a bit further screen share here in this same video. So we're going to go down here and we want a command prompt. So I'm going to type CMD. We're going to open a command prompt and we will do a dir, and we downloaded the dump 1090 software into our downloads directory. So we want to change directory to download. So I'm going to type a few characters, hit the tab key for command completion. Then I'm going to hit enter. And we are now in the correct directory. We'll do a dir. And we want to change directory into the dump 1090 Windows. So we'll type cd, and we can hit the tab key. And we will do a dir here. And we're going to want to run this dump 1090.bat file, but we want to use some command options with it. So we're going to try this command to begin with, dump 1090 space -- net. And let's run it. We've got an error. Notice that, at least on my computer, it found two devices, a device 0 and a device 1. So what we're going to want to do is to use a different command. And again, all these things will be put in the video description. We're going to pick this one, and there we go. And we are successfully seeing radar, actually it's ADS-B data from various aircraft that are flying over my current location. So we have now completed this step with the RTL-SDR V3. In the next step, we're going to start up the virtual radar software, and we want to have this dump 1090 running. But we will stop this particular screen share at this time. The next thing that we're going to want to do is we're going to want to click on this link. And this address that we see here 127.0.0.1. This is called the local host. And so we're going to click on this. And it takes a few minutes to get all of this loaded in. And the next thing you're going to want to do is to move to your current location. And this is where I am. And so what we're seeing now, and I just have my little quarter wave ground plane antenna sitting on a kitchen table inside of the house. And this is how many aircraft we're picking up. So at this point, we can just pick any airplane we wish. We'll click on this. And if you notice, it shows pictures of them. It shows altitude, vertical speed, it shows speed in knots, shows the heading, so on and so forth. So at this point in time, you have successfully started up a virtual radar system and are tracking aircraft. Now, we can come over here to the menu and we can click on this. There are a number of different options here, and you can come in here and set this up, to however you desire. And there's also, you can change the colors, you can show range circles. There's, as you can see, there's just a number of things that you can do. Let's go ahead and click on list, filters. And so this is a very nice program. And once again, we're just using this little relatively inexpensive software-defined radio dongle, the RTL V4 in this case, to basically create a virtual radar and be able to track the aircrafts that you're probably going to be able to track aircraft for a few hundred miles around you if you can put your antenna outside and put it up in the air a little bit. So the next step is we're going to be doing the same thing for the RTL-SDR V4. There are some differences. So if you have the RTL-SDR V3, then you can skip the next session and call this particular project a success. If you have an RTL-SDR V3, you can ignore this particular segment. If you have an RTL-SDR V4, you want to go ahead and connect your antenna to it and plug it into your PC. And once you do so, you're going to type CMD, and you want to, in my case, I'm going to change directory to downloads. And if we do a dir here, we then want to change directory into the dump 1090 directory. And we will do a dir here. And we will now run this command dump 1090.net, or I'm sorry, dump 1090 space dash dash net. And we will right click here. We will hit enter. And notice this has the identical message here that found two devices. So you may or may not see that. If you do, then you want to come over here and run this command. Okay, once you get here, I want you to notice it said no supported tuner found. This is the reason why I wanted to do sections for RTL-SDR V3 and RTL-SDR V4 separately. So the next thing that we're going to do is we are going to solve the no supported tuner found issue. In order to resolve our RTL-SDR V4 driver issue, we're going to have to get the V4 driver. So we're going to go to this URL and we're going to scroll down to assets, and we want to download release.zip. And then we're going to bring up our File Explorer, going to the downloads directory, and here is the release zip file we just downloaded. We will select it and then right click and extract all. And we will extract to the location shown. And once we get here, we're going to want to go inside the x86 directory, and we want to find a file that's called RTLSDR.dll. And we're going to copy that. And then we're going to next move over to our downloads directory, but I'm sorry, we're still in the downloads directory here. What we want to do next is we want to click on the dump 1090 directory, and in here we will paste the file that we just copied. And so notice we have RTLSDR.dll in here. If you have a prior version of this, I would suggest that you append something like original-RTLSDR.dll before you copy this on top of it. So that is that. So what we want to do next is we want to bring up our terminal, and we're going to CD into downloads. And we're going to CD into dump 1090. And we know that we're going to need this command here, at least on my computer, where we have an index of 1. So we will run that command. Yay, our RTL-SDR V4 is now working. So what we will do next is we'll bring up the virtual radar. And I'm going to go ahead and close this. And what you're going to want to do is we set this up in an earlier segment in this video, so it's all configured, it's collecting data. If you want to set this up for the RTL V4, then you want to come down here to options. You want to come down to receiver. There's a wizard here. We'll go ahead and click on the wizard. We have a software-defined radio, so we'll keep that selection. Here we want to select dump 1090. And so we select that, click next. Is the SDR decoder running on this computer? Yes. Let's click next. And we're now finished. And we can close this. And the last step is let's start the virtual radar up. So we're going to click on this link. It will take a little while for things to load up. And there you have it. And we'll just pick some airplane in here. We'll left click on it. And you will not see pictures for all of the aircraft that you select, but many of them you will be able to see them. So here you have it. This is the virtual radar server. It's dump 1090, and we're receiving ADS-B data from aircraft, and we're plotting the information on a virtual radar. And this is Paul, the SDR guy. Thank you for watching and have a great day.